Kina Mama wa Africa is a feminist leadership development organization that was founded in 1985 by a group of African women that were in the diaspora, were deeply connected to their African roots and thought the need to organize around issues that were affecting African women at that time. As an organization, we are keenly aware of these injustices and the need to act to ensure that women have voice, women have agency, and women have autonomy over the decisions they make, over the environments where they live in, and also have the right to exercise and voice and be part of society as equals. Raising political consciousness is critical to helping people or guiding people to question the existing injustices, to question issues of power imbalances, to question issues around inequalities. And we do this through our flagship program, the African Women's Leadership Institute. And that's why the reason we are here today.
Leaders have a lot on their shoulders. And for women leaders, it's a double burden. Let me put it that way, a heavier burden. So the mental challenges are a lot. Emotional and mental challenges are a lot. And many times women try to be so strong. They want to be seen as supportive. At the same time, they have their own issues. So for every meeting like this, every time women get together to talk about leadership, to talk about development, they need to first also understand what their limitations are, what their weaknesses are, personal, not societal or political, but what their personal issues are and have been, and how they can overcome these in order to become better leaders.
Feminist leadership, really, I think the most exciting part of it is how it turns inwards rather than outwards. It's so often that we turn to leaders outside of us, what we want of them, what we expect of them, and don't think about ourselves as leaders in our own right, or don't think about how our individual biases and prejudices actually impact how we function as leaders. So the journey in the session that we had today was really about reflecting on those individual biases and prejudices, and how it informs how we see ourselves and how we perceive the world around us.
We've been invited to the African Women's Leadership Institute. The theme is feminist economic justice. We are all activists or some kind of practitioner, professional in the work that we do, and we've come here with particular things. I want us to have a little conversation about why are we here? And we're going to ask everyone to really think of ourselves as a community. There are some of you who are seasoned feminists, you train, you facilitate feminist spaces, and there are others who it actually might be their first time in a feminist space.
This is the first of such workshops I've been fortunate to attend. I believe that they could spread their tentacles even further than they already are doing. There could be a step down of this kind of sessions that we have for young women who want to be leaders, especially those who have actually taken roles in their political parties, in the tertiary institutions, and even in secondary schools. You catch them young, you nurture them young, you imbibe the principles of certain dynamics which power and influence in politics gives us. And as we share and discuss these things, people tend to be a bit more conscious of their environment and what it does for them and how it influences them in a positive or negative way. But we all pray for a much more positive influence in our lives.
The lens for feminism that I operate from is a lens of power. Where does power sit? How is power operating? How is power moving? Who is holding that power? How are they holding that power? Yeah? So for me, at the center of feminism is an analysis of power.
This has been a very useful training, and I think moving forward, it's going to help us within Uplift to actually empower the women at the feminist agenda within Uplift to bring up to speed issues that need to be understood, even as we look at the legislative agenda within Uplift and the advocacy issues within Uplift.
For me, it has been a huge learning because as a grant maker within the African feminist movement, it has really awakening my insight into feminism, economic theories, because we also support grantees who are working on issues of economic justice. So I believe this is an opportunity, or this is a learning for me as a person to apply to whatever work I do within the movement by resourcing and providing accompaniment support.
Mama providing a different form of training. It's in demand, and actually if our national governments loved themselves, this is training that should be provided at national level, which means Akina Mama would have to multiply themselves, but which is what the AWLI is about, you know, to produce people who can train others, train the trainer. So I think they are pioneers, they are trailblazers in the method that they use, which is appreciative learning really. It's a method that says the person standing in front is not the alpha and omega of knowledge, but also in the creation of a village setting that brings a set of equality between participants and facilitators.
What I intend to do is to, first of all, share the knowledge I've gained here with the larger group of the Women's Rights Network in Ghana, as well as my own organization. But beyond that, to share the concepts of feminism when it comes to macroeconomics. So as the Women's Network in Ghana, we focus on economic justice. And so this gives us tools where we can actually advocate for better policies.
Down with men oppression in Africa, down. Down. Down with male domination in Africa, down. Down. Down with African policies that are not feminist inclined, down.
In Ghana.
So when we synergize our effort with Akina Mama Institute, AWLI Institute, we will increase, we will make a change in Africa for more decent work and social justice. We will work on women's rights, we will change a lot of things. So the institutes are doing well, and I think that for the short and long term, we have a lot of things to do together.
I actually like the bit about the storytelling. We're sharing our experiences, and these are with women who also have stories to tell. Everybody's story is varied, but there's a lesson to learn from it all. And we share these lessons and we share these experiences, and we just become better versions of ourselves.
Somewhere along the line, I realized some people were actually, I wouldn't say zoning out, but they were in their past. Something was being said that touched a nerve. And in that moment, you pull yourself back in because it's not a nice place you want to go to. Please, part of being a good leader is knowing your faults, your failures, accepting them, embracing them, because that is what will make you a leader. And throughout this meeting, this conference, I've been observing, watching participants, the delegates, and I'm listening to their stories. And as they speak, I get this sense of, well, there's a lot that we need done for us before we can do for others. And that's why it's important that you have a psychologist, a psychotherapist around to hear their story. Not the stories they want people to hear to empower them, but their stories on how to deal with themselves, forgive the mistakes they probably made in the past, because these will invariably influence their future.
I must say that I'm very privileged to be part of this group of powerful women. This program has actually been very helpful and very educative in moving our feminist agenda across Africa.